Hi Ryan, so I understand that we're dealing with your lateral epicondylitis on your right arm, which is 5 days post-injury. So we're going to do, for the acute phase, what we're going to do is some basic stretching exercises to help increase your range of motion a little bit within a pain-free range. We're also going to work on dexterity in the fingers, so trying to decrease pain and just increase mobility in your fingers a little bit as well. Because the main concern is your elbow, we're also going to worry about your wrist down along your kinetic chain, as well as strengthening your wrist flexors and extensors within pain-free range, like I mentioned. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how you can use each of these exercises within your home program so that you can do them outside of the clinic. So the first thing I want you to do, so you'll do as I do with my hands, you'll do with your own hands. So what you're going to do is you're going to stretch your hand within pain-free range in extension first. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your hand, and you're just going to go as far back as you can with your hand in pain-free range, and you're going to add a slight stretch on it with your other hand. And do you get any pain with that?
No.
Good. So I want you to stay within a range that's pain-free. So you're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds, and I'll show you the other stretches you can do, but you'll do 5 of these stretches every time you go through this little routine, about twice a day. So you'll do that one for 30 seconds. You also do going forward, so flexing your wrist, and then the same thing, putting a little bit of extra pressure on your wrist, with staying within a pain-free range. So you'll hold that for 30 seconds as well. Once you do that, you'll also do some stretching along in what we call pronation and supination. So what you're going to do is your whole elbow, you're going to turn your wrist inwards, and you're just going to add a little bit of extra pressure on your wrist and hand, just add a little bit of a stretch. Do you feel any stretch with that?
A little bit. Yeah.
Good. So you'll hold this one for 30 seconds as well, and then you're going to stretch with your palm out and stretch that way as well. Good. So hold for 30 seconds. We'll do 5 reps of this, so cycle through each exercise 5 times, and we'll do this twice a day. The next exercise I'm going to do is going to be to try to use your fingers. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this finger web, and what you're going to do, you're going to stick your hands in just so the web's about halfway down your finger. And what you're going to do is just practicing squeezing all your fingers together and releasing. Squeezing and releasing. So you can try that for me. And same as always, if it hurts to make a full fist, just go as far as you can without getting into that painful range. Good. So you can do this 25 times, and we'll do this twice a day as well when you do your stretching exercises. Perfect. The next one we're going to do is a little bit of band work. So what I'll have you do is I'll get you a stool. Basically what you're going to do with this, you can actually loop your feet over the side of the bed. What you're going to do is you're going to step on the resistance band. You're going to step so that there's tension and resistance. And what you're going to do is you're going to use your other hand. So we're working on flexion extension, eccentric movement with this one. So as always within a pain-free range. So if this band is too much resistance, let me know. What you're going to do, you're going to use your other hand to push your hand as far as it goes within pain-free range into flexion, so bending towards you, and then you're going to slowly let this hand drop back towards the ground into extension. And I don't want you to drop your hand right away against the resistance. I want you to try to resist the extension. So nice and slow back towards the ground. So it should be about 2 to 3 seconds by the time you actually start to the time your arm gets back down to flat. So you can try that one. And maybe we'll try doing it actually. So if you come over to, maybe if you come sit on this corner, so come sit in this stool. We can somehow try to do it where you're stepping on it, and then you can relax your arm on this table so that your wrist is the only one out of the table, Perfect. And you can do 15 of these, 3 sets twice a day. The other one you're going to do is you're going to flip your hand. So instead of resisting that, you're going to use your other hand. So use your free hand to push your hand into full extension, and then you're slowly going to let it go back to neutral. Good. And you can do 15 of these as well, 3 times a day, within a pain-free range. So that's all I want to do for the acute phase. For the subacute phase, once we're 21 days into the injury, I have some different exercises I'll get you to do. So we'll start with what we're going to do is we're going to start to worry about strengthening your pronation supination range that we were just working on. So what you can do is, sitting on the stool again, what you can do, put your elbow on the edge of the stool. I'm just using a 3-pound weight. We're at the point now where there's a bit more strength, so this shouldn't be painful. What you're going to do is just turn your arm in and then turn your arm out. Turn your arm in, turn your arm out. So you can do this, try that, back and forth, 15 times in total. Good. Is that somewhat challenging for you?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's not challenging enough, we can just increase the weight, so it's making those muscles work. Okay. The next exercise we're going to do at this point is, now that we're starting to get towards more sport-specific stuff, what I want you to do is what we were doing before, but now instead of using a band to go up and down eccentrically, you're going to use a weight. So the same way you were doing it before, you can bring your arm up, so you get a concentric load, and you're slowly going to let it go back to neutral. And you can do that 15 times, twice a day. And then turn your hand over, and you'll do the same thing. So bring your arm back up, and then slowly let it fall back to neutral. Good. So 15 times, twice a day. Pain-free range. The last one I want to do in this stage is move towards some dynamic things that will start working on your entire kinetic chain, from your wrist, elbow, all the way up to your shoulder. So I'm going to have you do to get more functional. We're going to start to do push-ups on a Bosu ball. So what you can do, so you're not putting all that weight on your wrist, is you go on the Bosu ball, you can start from your knees, and then what you're going to do is go down into a push-up position, and then push up through your elbows, shoulders, and wrists. So go down, and then push back up. And because this is a little bit unstable, it'll help incorporate a sense of balance and proprioception into this exercise. Good. So good. Just like I showed you just from the knees. And you can do 10 of those in total, 3 sets.
Okay.
Just once a day for those ones. So now moving into the chronic return to play stage of injury for this. We're going to get you into some sport specific exercises. So what we're going to do, the important thing as a golfer is that you're not relying too much on your wrists, more working through your full range of motion when you're doing your swing. So can you show me quickly, if there's enough from here, if this was your club, can you show me how you would swing? Good. So now what I want to do is use your swinging motion, but I want to add a sort of almost like a plyometric phase to this. So what you're going to do is on your swing through, where you start to bend your wrist, you're going to stop halfway through the swing, so right when you're about to hit the ball, and then as soon as you stop, you're going to quickly reverse the swing. So you're going to go back into like your almost cocked phase of your swing. So you're going to swing through and then stop and go right back into your phase. So it's almost like a half swing. And then come back. And then come back. Perfect. So it's almost like you're warming up for baseball or something like that. So you'll do, you can do 20 of those, 3 sets of those. Do you get any pain at this point with that?
No.
Good. So that's the sign that we can keep pushing it a little bit more. The other thing I want to do at this point is to use the body blade to help work on some of your wrist proprioception. So what you're going to do is, like we were doing before, pronation, supination. You're going to start with your wrist down. So in a pronated state, what you're going to do, you're going to shake the body blade with your elbow stabilized on the table. You're going to shake the body blade and move into supination while you're still shaking the body blade. So you're going to go back and forth from pronation and supination. Okay. See if you can do that. Good, and keep it moving. Good, and keep going. Good. So you can go back and forth 10 times, and we'll do 3 sets of these per day. Okay. If you want to do them the sets back to back, that's great. Just give yourself about a minute to 2 minute rest in between sets. Okay. The last one. The last one I want to do for this one is more PNF stretching for your wrist. Flexors and extenders. Even get into radial deviation, ulnar deviation a little bit, just to make sure you don't have any limitations in range of motion from here on out. So what you're going to do, the same way you were doing early on in the rehab, the way you were adding stretches to your wrist, you're going to do the same thing. But now, so now instead of pushing your wrist back, what I'll get you to do, push your wrist back, stretch it as far as it goes, and then you're going to push back the opposite way for 5 seconds. So you're going to hold this for 10, as far back as it goes, push into it, so resist yourself for 5 seconds, and then push back for another 10 seconds. And you'll do that 3 times in total. So going back first, good. So 10 seconds there, and then you'll resist yourself for 5 seconds, and then push it back another 10 seconds as far as it goes. So you do that for extension, you'll do it for flexion, so bending forward, pushing it that way, then resisting for 5, and pushing it back into flexion again. Radial deviation, so pushing it towards your thumb. It's the same way, stretch, use your other hand to help stretch it, and then resist, so push back towards your other hand, and then pull it into radial deviation again towards your thumb. The last one, just pushing it towards your pinky and ulnar deviation, adding a little bit of an overpressure as a stretch, and then resisting for 5 seconds, and then overpressure stretch for 10. So what I'll get you to do is each of these stretches you'll repeat 3 times. So you'll do that 3 sets of this exercise, and I'll get you to do it twice a day.
Okay.
Do you have any questions, or are you pretty well suited for this rehab?
That makes sense.
Perfect.